Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. The talk by Jayesh Ranjan sir was so wonderful, and I liked where he said that we are breaking the barrier of education to get women in entrepreneurship. You don't have to have 5 different degrees as a woman to make something of yourself. And in this panel, we're going to talk more about what these barriers are and how we, you and I as a community can break that. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Pooja. I work as a growth engineer at Plane, which is an open source project management project. And I work extensively with communities, growth, and marketing. I am somebody who's just started her career. It's just been 1 or 2 years of working for me, but what I see here right now is more than 50 years of experience. I know it's not just the number of years, but having talked to all these women in the past few weeks to coordinate this event, I've realized the wisdom that they bring to the table is incredible. And I'm so happy all of you are here to listen and absorb all the insights we have to share. So thank you so much for being here. Whatever brings you here, I'm happy that you are sitting here for the next 25 minutes to do this with us. So I will start by introducing Megha. Megha is the wonderful founder and CEO of DevRel Squad. If you are in the DevRel profession, I think you might have heard of this. She has also worked at Apple, Microsoft, MongoDB. She's had a long career of 15 years. Thank you so much for being here, Megha. Next, we have Bhargavi. Bhargavi works right now as a head of corporate technology at BNY Mellon. She's worked at tech giants like Microsoft, and she brings a lot of wisdom and experiences with her. She's also been the VC of American Express. Thanks for being here, Bhargavi. We're really fortunate to have you. Then we have Bhavani. Bhavani right now works as a senior DevOps engineer at Zscaler, and she works really extensively with communities. She's had a huge role in organizing this panel that you're seeing. So really excited to talk to you about communities, Bhavani. And Shanta. Shanta works at Lee's Accelerator, and she's also worked at Deloitte and Wipro for more than, I think, 13 years. So Shanta has had a really impactful career, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. So you'll see. Now, my first question is going to be directed to you, Megha. A lot of our audience today are people who are just starting out in their career, who are young, let's say between the age of 21 to 25. People who have just been in their career for 1 year, people who are doing engineering, people who are doing growth, all sorts of people. But let's assume that they are in tech. If you are here, I'm assuming you are. And for somebody like that, what does it take to get to a CXO level position? That's something, if you have that ambition, you have to prepare early. So what does a woman do to get to that position, and how does she make sure that she gets to that goal? It's a really wide question, I understand, but I would love to hear your insights.
Sure. So it's a very big question, and it's a difficult question. As far as my journey goes and my learning goes, I would like to extract it from the woman perspective and take it to a generic perspective first. So I was at IIT Kharagpur, Kshitij, a few months back, probably a year back. And I remember Ashneer Grover talking about Dogalapan. So I want to say only 2 things, and I think our chief guest also talked about the same thing. You need only that hunger, that passion for learning, and that is what you need, that pagalpan. And apart from that, you need great people with you. So you need the community. So that is what you need. And agar koi in the age group of 21 to 25, looking forward to become a CXO, right? So I think the biggest thing which I have gained in the past few months or past few days, like 70, 80 days, so you can say roughly 2-3 months, pagalpan, people, and patience. 3 P's of my journey, and I would suggest the same thing. So you have to be very, very patient. Perseverance is one thing, but being patient to work with other people, because everyone brings something to the table. So to get the best out of those people, I have to be patient. I'm working with a lot of Gen Z, and they don't wake up before 11. So my stand-ups happen at 12:30. I cannot say I am waking up at 5:30, I'm becoming a founder, I am changing my life, you also have to change for me. the best people in the social or the creative UI UX, or even someone just built our product UI UX, they revamped it within a span of 2 hours, 1 to 3. They worked 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. I cannot tell them work in the timings I am telling you to, right? So maybe the best in them comes out at 1 a.m. So I'm not supposed to do that to them. So I think for building the great people, great team, you need to have that patience, and to take everything along, you need to have that perseverance. Because if I talk about CXOs or business, not every day is good. You will have highs, you will have lows. So if you are only working on your good days, then it's not going to take you anywhere. I have worked when I am crying. Recently, one of my employees or intern, you can put it as intern, their father passed away. We were in the middle of a fun game, and something happened, and she just left that, okay, some incident has happened. And next day, we got to know that her father passed away. So we were in a shock. And see, my company is just 70-80 days old. I don't even have an HR. I act as HR some of the days. I act as recruiter as well. So being a CXO, you have to play a lot of roles, at least for the initial stages startups. If you are in a very established one, then also you might have to play other roles, but that will be rare. So you should be ready for that, as well as importance of values, human virtues over and above anything. So I told her that we didn't have any policy of compassionate leave, but we formed it, and we have given her 15 days, and she can be back whenever she feels comfortable. She's not losing the job or internship at all. So I think, to sum it up, 3 Ps plus perseverance, so 4 Ps, and that's it, I think. And you have to learn and grow. Degrees does not matter. I think that's the bottom line. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that question. So basically, the bottom line is to create an environment where they feel like they are important and they are cared for, and that they are making an impact. So, and also discipline. If that's a quality you have to cultivate from the beginning, because that is going to get you where you want to be. Thank you so much, Megha, for answering that question. Bhargavi, I'm going to direct the next question to you. Following up with what Megha talked about, you've had a long career of almost 20 years, right? It's been 18 to 20 years. That's a long, long time. And I think you started working in 2006, right? So you started your journey with Microsoft, and back, if we talk about 2006 and if we talk about 2024, I think the number of women that are entering tech is now increased a lot. But as we move up the ladder, as we go to the senior and executive positions in tech, we see that there are not a lot of women there still. So I'm going to ask a two-part question. What do you think is the reason that we see a decline in women's number at senior positions? And what are some growth inhibitors that are the reason for this?
Thank you, Pooja. So let me just take a few minutes to talk about my career, because then you will be able to correlate my answers better. I started my career as a developer, and I think Pooja was humbling enough to say that I'm not really that old. But I started maybe where you guys were born, some of you. I started in '94, so which is closing in on 30 years now. And I started as a developer, as a C++ Unix developer. And back in those days, it was a luxury to be a Unix developer. I worked in Texas Instruments. That was my first company. And, still a lot of work used to happen in mainframes. I don't know, just by show of hands, how many of you are working in companies where you're still using mainframes? Only 2-3 people's hands went up. That just tells me that maybe the crowd here is mostly product companies or startups, or even if you are in a large bank, somebody earlier mentioned JPMC, you might be in another team which doesn't do as much legacy work. Having said that, when I started my career, most of the core engineering was still happening in legacy. And so Unix developers were just like now how you are introducing cloud native developers, they were like the cool people. So I had the luxury of having a Sun Microsystems machine with me, and I also had a Windows machine with me. Windows was just starting its journey. I had multiple companies where I worked, Texas Instruments, MCI WorldCom, which is a telecom company. Then I worked in, Amex, American Express, as head of technology. But before that, I worked about 11 years in Microsoft and Amazon combined. But like after first 6 years, I've started moving into leadership roles. When I say leadership roles, back then we had like disciplines of program management, dev, test, production support. It's not like today's world where we have, the engineering heads mostly having entire spectrum experience. In fact, when I was working in Amazon, I used to teach what it means to be a developer at Amazon, and one of the diagrams that I used to have was, in other companies, a typical developer will only do design and development, but here at Amazon, we do end-to-end. And this journey also started only around 2014-ish. I'm talking about before that in Microsoft, we were still very functionally siloed. So the thing that I wanted to say, and before I jump to your question in specific, when I was in one of my previous firms way back, this is when I moved back to India. I moved back to India in '99, and one of the questions, one of the CEOs I was interacting with in a large town hall asked this question, how many of you have a cell phone right now? I'm talking about '99. If any of you were still like more than a child, can you take a guess on how many hands went up when the question was like 5 years back, how many of you have had a cell phone? So only one hand went up. Okay, so I was the one that said I had a cell phone because I was at that time in US, and my husband insisted that I should carry my cell phone because he was still doing his PhD at Texas A&M, and I shifted to Dallas for my work, so I had to carry my cell phone for his safety because he wanted to be sure I was still alive somewhere on the road. So coming back to it, and then his follow-up question was, in '99, how many of you now have cell phone? And almost everybody's hand went up. And so what his answer was like, we haven't invented technology that we are going to use 5 years down the lane. And in my experiences, like I started with C++, I feel like very few languages had the luxury of living for this long. Java is one of them. Python is probably the other one that is surviving for this long. But a lot of other languages that got invented don't exist, like Objective-C. How many of you heard of Objective-C? Quite a few hands, that's really impressive. Smalltalk, couple of hands. So many languages came in between and went away. The fundamental thing is willingness to learn and continuously reinventing yourself is extremely important. Now, I have been a global CIO for Bank of New York Mellon for corporate technology functions, and this is a large global role because I was leading a 600 people organization spread across New York, Pittsburgh, Chennai, Pune, and Poland. And most of my stakeholders, 4 of them were immediate CEO directs because I was CHRO, Chief Risk Officer, Chief Treasurer, all of these people. And also, this was the first time a global role was sitting out of India. Most of my team, my immediate directs, was based in US. It's very New York heavy. If you've been in a large bank, most of these roles tend to be, and if you're in a large product company, you might be in Bay Area or Seattle. So it's very similar there. And so the point I'm trying to call out is few things. Now I'm sorry, I went all over the board, but I wanted to talk about the barriers now. There's the few things that I have seen that stop or that become inhibitors is, one is that women give up very easily. Like what I mean there is like I had, please don't take me wrong, I want to go back on my words, choice of words. So in Amazon, I had a developer who was working with me, and he had a job at that time in Facebook Bay Area. At that time like 150K or 200K. He was going to move to US within 6 months because the visa processing takes time. He was still an employee in Amazon in India. And even till the last day, he kept on signing up for the most toughest projects. So what I mean there is they don't give up on what they sign up for till the last day. Whereas I see in some women that, you know, the minute they know they're pregnant, they're worried about the project outcomes. So they say, you know, maybe I shouldn't sign up for this. So my biggest ask to you guys is do not give up till the day you leave. Second thing, don't wear job as an accessory. The minute you have shortest of problems, a problem with family or anybody, don't think your job is not mandatory. You have taken a seat in a big institute at the expense of so many other people that could have gotten there. Please take your responsibility wisely. The reason we don't have enough C-suite people, in fact, by the way, I went to Economic Times CIO conclave in India that happened a few years back. It happens every year. I get invited every year. In one of those conclaves, out of the 100 CXOs that were there, I was the only female CIO. It's so unfortunate. So if you don't have equivalent representation, people are not thinking for you. So don't give up until you have to give up. And you will find a way if you have that ambition. I was today reading about a lady who became an IPS officer, 14 years, she got married, 18 years, she had 2 children, and she's already an IPS officer, and she didn't become the first time, it's the 4th attempt. So we have some very inspiring women, not just now, take from Jhansi Lakshmibai, so many other women leaders that fought in this country, they have broken the stereotypes. We have many other people also, but most people are not fitting into that. Most people are going back to stereotypes. So break away from that stereotype, continually learn newer stuff. I always had 10% of time invested in a future job. Last thing I will leave you with, because I think I'm so much running beyond my time, is that one advice I received long back in my career was think big. Now that sounds very easy, very simple. I think in Microsoft that was one of the values, if I remember. So think big. How you should internalize is our limits are internal in our head. Quite honestly, this is my personal experience, that the day I thought to myself that I can become a CIO, things started falling in place. Until that time, I used to be this manager. I had hundreds of people still reporting to me, but I used to be this manager who wanted to really show my own team exceptionally well. I was always like leading fantastic teams, winning big projects. In Microsoft, I built the enterprise data warehouse. I was leading the development team that built the enterprise data warehouse. In fact, I had the unique opportunity to present to Bilji because until then it was all the reporting warehousing solutions were individual line of business oriented solutions. So when I say think big, I was always like okay to do my team very well, but I wasn't focusing on my enterprise. So think for your enterprise, think for whatever you're doing, how can you raise the game for your peers, for your team at large, and then automatically you will see that you will grow farther, which means that having those difficult conversations with your peers, which we are not usually equipped with. If you are really benevolent and you want to invest in the enterprise, you will be okay to have those difficult conversations with your peers. Also, prepare yourself for 2 levels above your current job and act as if you're already in your next job. So this is an easy advice, but try to see what does it take you to go 2 levels above, but act as if you're already one level above, and that's how you get promoted to the next level. It's never because you've done exceptionally well for what you're asked or exceeded that. It's always because you're ready for the next level. Sorry, I went too far.
No, absolutely not. This was so great. And I think, yes, please, let's have a huge round of applause for Bhargavi.
Just to add my 2 cents here,
Yes.
we have heard Megha and Bhargavi speak. And, Megha, if we talk about her, as we all know, that she has come out of her comfort zone and did that thing which not many people, not many women actually have done earlier. Hearing to what Bhargavi had said, that, I mean, the challenges that she had faced and how she overcome the advice that she had received, that had made sure, I mean, having someone, having something, somebody like a role model that we can look up to, and having them connected, and whenever you get a chance, collaborate, communicate, keep them as your mentors, because they are very, very much required for all of us. I mean, not just talking about tech, industry agnostic, I mean, be it anywhere, when you do not have anyone to look up to, people generally get scared and they hold themselves back. So, I mean, that community building is very important. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that point, Shanta, because I personally have felt this, where we always talk about how there are not many women at the senior levels, and it's the power of community that brings us together and makes us realize that there are, and we actually have role models to look up to, like you all. I love the point about thinking big. It sounds easy, but it's not, and when you actually can internalize something like that, then all qualities, the discipline, the resilience, the zeal to do it, it comes with you. So thank you so much, Bhargavi. Now, talking about that, communities have a huge role to play in all of this. And Bhavani, you've been working really extensively with CNCF, and you've been trying to get women to be part of these communities and empower them through it. But we all go to community events, we all attend it, and as soon as we get the opportunity to do a speaker, we do that too. But how do you suggest that we actually, as an individual part of these communities, make an impact and amplify the impact, amplify whatever is being said to actually empower women and get them to achieve big?
With respect to this, so I have been to the women in CNCF as an organizer. And so I have been active in CNCF Hyderabad community from the month it gets started active here. So the first reason I started coming to all the events is like being a DevOps engineer. So I do work on cloud native technologies and mostly on Kubernetes, and so whatever the solutions that we try to implement in organizations will somehow, like, I get to know about other projects, how we can implement that and this. That's my major intention when I started joining the community. With my experience, if you attend the meetups, like what happens is, today I got to learn about many things with respect to security, and you keep on learning new things which you don't know. Even though you don't implement it, but you somehow relate it, yes, that specific project does this. So maybe in future, at some point of your career, that will help you to implement that idea within your work. So community is something which helps you within your career, implementing those solutions. Also, you'll meet a lot of great people here. And so all the community members of CNCF is very helpful, and their journeys will definitely motivate you, and something like if you have some technical problem also, they will answer you, and their paths and their journeys will inspire you. And that's how you can see a community. It will give you a technical expertise and technical learning, and you can see other people who are doing many things through the communities, how they're doing it. So I got to know a lot of people through the CNCF community, and I always felt like how they're doing it. But one thing I see, wherever I attend meetups, I see the less participation of women. Today I feel a little better, but I see few more women faces here. But like whenever I just go for monthly meetup, hardly see like 2-3 people, and I felt like we should promote women in this community, and with that, like we started through women in CNCF, giving a workshops and giving a technical talks. Your journey will be always inspirational to someone. If you are passionate about doing best in your career, you will definitely be in that position. So and you always feel that ups and lows in their career, and at that point you might think like I need some push, or like I need someone who can tell me like what's the right way to do it. And so there is a situation like when I felt the same thing, and I was just literally reached out to Bhargavi Sunkara ma'am. And so at that time she doesn't even know me, but she met with me, and she guided me like how how can you be more productive, and how can you aim big, and that is very important. Like, so you see, if you see yourself at a very higher level, you keep on working hard to achieve that. If you just think like, okay, I'll do job and let it happen, you won't be that passionate and that goal oriented person. So communities will give you that energy. When you meet a lot of like-minded people, their suggestions will definitely help you. You can be technically expertise, and I'm a very much interested to be a speaker. Like when I attend events, I always see people like so when I'll get I should pursue this somehow. And today, I'm sitting with all these people, and this is my first time in this kind of a big event speaking. It's kind of very much inspirational journey for myself, and sitting beside my inspiration is my another feel of a great moment for me. So yeah, everyone can do it. It's all you need is that passion, and you have to, if you are passionate, even though you are a woman, even though you have multiple responsibilities, you can make it. So I can't travel outside, but I choose to attend the local meetups whenever I have time, and whatever the workshops that we do it through Women in CNCF is virtual, so you can attend it from anywhere. So that's what we are trying to do. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bhavani, for that answer. We're so glad you're here, and we hope you speak in more events as you like to. Now, as we talked about it, for us to empower women, I think 3 things are the most important. First, yourself and your mindset, which Bhargavi ma'am kindly talked about, that we need to change our mindset. We need to have that resilience. And then we talked about communities. Communities in society, and how we as peers empower women. But I think the third most important thing is the organizations that they work for. So Shanta, I would direct this question to you. How do you think companies can better support women? Because we see women's careers is not exactly like a man's, right? Sometimes they have more responsibilities, things like pregnancy, career breaks due to family. So how do you think companies can do better and support women better?
Sure, that's a very broad and a very good question. I mean, very prevalent in the industry where we particularly are in. So, a few things depends. When any woman goes on a career break, mostly we take it for granted that she might be getting married, or she might be traveling abroad with maybe her spouse, or she might be on a maternity leave, or taking a break to, maybe she's the primary caregiver and she needs to be at home and put something on the less priority list and take care of things that she has. So there are multiple reasons why women generally go on a career break, but that is more or less taken as if it's a sin. So it basically starts with not having that bias when we invite them back to work, when we are posting something on the job board or the company portal. I mean, if you see, when recruiters see a career graph, don't just talk to them and belittle them for taking that break. Talk to them and try to understand why they took that gap. And there should be a valid reason why someone who's already in the workforce decides to go out of it. So talk to them if there's the skill set that the company needs and she already has it. There's no point not hiring her. So it basically starts with the screening and then coming to this unconscious bias which people have, we need to combat that as well. So generally gender irrespective, it could be from men, it could be from women. So when there's a role that has come up and a person who is just come from a maternity break or from any kind of a break for that matter, they just take it for granted. She has a kid, she might not be able to do that, or she might not be able to travel because she has a small kid with her. So that should not be the point. At least talk to her. Let her take that decision. Don't just think that, okay, this is something that we think is or should have been, and that is the reason. That is not the case. And sometimes when people, when they even join the workforce, after joining it, there is some skill gap. So organizations should, tailor their training sessions and something that caters to the people who have come back from the gap and the skill sets that are required for that role. So that way you are empowering them, you're feeling them, you're making them feel that they're valued, their contributions are valued, and people do not necessarily feel that that she's back from a gap and she's anything less than anyone in the workforce. Maybe, yeah. Okay. I think, it's okay. Yeah, I think, pretty much sums it up. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Shanta. That was a great answer. I think you guys did that, so we stop. Okay, our time is up, but thank you so much, first of all, Atul, for coordinating this, for organizing this, and yeah, you. And this was my good fortune that I'm here with all these ladies with such enormous impact and experience. And if there is one thing that you want to take away from this panel, I think as a woman, it would be to, as Bhargavi ma'am said, think big and don't be at rest. Prepare yourself for the next role already and act like you are in it. And I see a lot more men than I see women. Then I'm so happy that you are here listening to something like this. So I have faith that you are going to be great supporters in your sisters, your wives, your mothers' lives, and empowering them, not just in their profession, but even in their personal life, in whatever way they feel empowered. So thank you so much. I would like you to applaud yourself for being here, and to our wonderful speakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Please be there. We'll be giving you a mementos. We all felt moved by listening to each one of you. As we give away the mementos, please keep clapping. Please have a huge round of applause for everyone. And we'll also be having wonderful photograph. You can just show your goodies, or maybe now we can have a huge round of applause for all of them. Wow. We all felt moved by your discussions, and we didn't really want to show this time's up, but it is what it is. Thank you so much.